When you attempt to take a woman who has not taken care of herself, who has not built herself into the best version of herself, who has pretty much let herself go, you have to understand that building that woman into the best version of herself is not something that you're going to benefit from long term. And there are several reasons for this. The first is a woman only appreciates the effort you put into helping her grow while she's growing. Once she reaches that pinnacle of growth, she suddenly forgets who helped her get there and starts to take on this I'm every woman, I'm a survivor, and I've conquered the world mantra. Let's take a deep dive on this one. But first, let's elevate to a higher plane. Prepare for takeoff. Now, the reality of the scenario is this. You can try to lower your standards for a woman that you know is not on your level, and you're no better than a man who allows a woman to lower her standards to him. Because let's be honest, the more attractive a woman is, the more access she has to more successful men. That's just the reality of it. Not all men deserve every woman, the same way not all women deserve every man. But when you understand that building a woman into a version that she is not used to being is going to change her life in such a dramatic way that she'll never fully appreciate what you've done, because the new validation and attention that she'll gain will be overwhelming for an extended period of time. And then the worst will happen. Now, we all know the singer Jennifer Hudson. She came to fame in the movie Dreamgirls, and she had a great Jennifer Holiday rendition that really blew her up. Got assigned to a major record label, got her a few more acting gigs, and it made her a fairly household name. But she always struggled with her weight. The record label didn't care about it. The Hollywood studios didn't care about it. But this guy that she married, he cared about it. So he took his time, effort, and energy and put it into making her a woman that she wasn't even willing to make herself. And yes, she appreciated it. He reaped the benefits of that for a long time, until she woke up one day and realized that she was getting attention from men that she would have never gotten attention from when she was struggling with her weight. That she's gaining the type of attention from men that doesn't just indicate that they want to just have a quick rump in the sack. They want to date her. They want to get to know her. They consider her a possibility for a long-term relationship. And when you find a woman who has never had that in her life and she suddenly gets it, there is nothing that one man can do to keep that woman from outgrowing his presence in her life. See, she understands when she doesn't have herself together. And she's used to living the life that's a result of that. She knows that men give her attention when they just probably want to have a quick rump in the sack or some quick sex or some reliable sex at least. She knows that men, only give her the attention she gets because they believe she's easy for them. When you are a man who lowers your standards and goes after a woman who is lower than the standard you should require of yourself, then she in her mind understands that you're only doing it because you want to have something reliable, not something sustaining and long-term. So when you accept her, I'm talking about accept her as your woman, build a relationship with her, even marry her the way this guy did, you accept her at a point where her self-esteem is low, she doesn't believe in herself, and she really questions the value that she will have to a man in a sustainable relationship. But you believe that you can fix her. And what I am telling you is when you accept her at that point, everything that you do only serves to heal her bruised self-worth in the moment. As her self-worth increases because she starts to look better, which means she starts to feel better, which means she starts to see more clearly. So the men that she used to ignore because she just knew they weren't going to talk to her, now she's paying them attention. Why? Because they're paying her more attention. She's able to wear more revealing clothes and look good in them. Now, we know some of these big girls will wear revealing clothes, but there's a difference in wearing them and looking good in them. When you make her a newer model of herself, she will receive attention she's not prepared for. And so she can't help but be overwhelmed and validated beyond anything you could possibly do. And that's when you start to lose the benefits that you have been enjoying up to that point. The validation she gets from those men puts her in a space where only the most attractive women are. Only the women who are most sought after by the simps. See, a rich simp will at least try to get the most attractive woman he can. That is the goal of the rich simp. It doesn't matter what her qualities are. He just wants the most attractive woman. And when she starts to become that for those guys, she forgets all of the work you put in, because I told you before, a woman will get to the finish line. And even though you helped her there, ran some of the race for her, she'll get to the finish line and say, yes, I'm the champion. I won the race. I beat everyone. And she'll look at you like, where were you all of this time? I won this race. Where were you? Now, I'm not saying every woman would do that, but the overwhelming majority. Too many that you try to separate the ones who won't. What you have to understand is when you put her in that position, she has access to a caliber of men she didn't have access to before. And most of these men are on your level or even lower than you. But the only difference between you and them is they wouldn't have made her their wife when she was in that condition and say, well, I'm just going to fix her. And you hear guys saying all the time, you just meet the woman and fix her. That guy himself has low self-esteem because he is under the impression that if he fixes that woman, she'll be loyal to him for fixing her. No, your self-esteem will be even lower because when you fix her, she will look at you. And this is the crazy thing. This is what's really weird about it. You don't understand that you're old news. And even worse, she looks at you and says the old me was good enough for you. Why would I give you the new me? Why would I give you the 140-pound me when you were willing to accept the 290-pound me? Why would I give you the confident me when you were willing to accept the me who had absolutely no self-esteem? Why would I give you the sexy me when you were willing to accept the me that was afraid to get nude in front of you? I wanted to keep the lights off. I wanted to keep my clothes on. I kept avoiding the possibility of having sex with you because I didn't want you to see my body. Why would I allow you to enjoy all of this to yourself when those are the guys that I had to get myself together for? You never do yourself a service when you accept a woman before she gets herself together. You have to be a man who stands on his standards and stand on his masculine principle and says, okay, I have worked this hard to get myself in this position. I will not settle for a woman who has not worked as hard to make herself closer, at least close to the level of what I would desire in a woman. Now, if a woman just needs to lose about 10, 15 pounds, that's something totally different. Because technically speaking, 10 or 15 pounds, they can stay or leave. We're talking about a woman, man, who needs to lose 50, 60, 100, 150 pounds. Like this woman needed to lose a lot of weight and she lost it. And you know who helped her get there? The same guy who married her because he thought he was creating a wife for himself. Let me tell you something, son. You can't create a wife. A wife is a wife before you meet her. That's why when you marry any woman, you didn't make a wife. You just married a woman. He who findeth the wife findeth the good thing. That doesn't find he who married the woman and said, okay, now I got a wife. No, he who findeth a woman who is already a wife in her spirit, in her mind, in her heart. See, this is the one thing guys who believe that you can fix a woman don't understand. She looks at you as being beneath the new and improved her because you were the type of guy who would settle for the worst form of her. And you know what she says? She looks at you and says, why would I date you? Why would I be with you when you're the type of guy that a 290-pound woman can get? You're the type of guy that a low self-esteem having woman can get. You're the type of guy that I could get when I couldn't get no other man on your level. She's not going to appreciate that you lowered your standards for her. Because at that point, she's going to understand, now that she's the new and improved version of herself, men don't have to lower their standards to her anymore. She's going to respect those men more for making her be beautiful before they even step to her than she's ever going to do you for taking her as just a clump of clay and shaping her into the beauty queen that she has become, the confident woman that she has become, the queen-minded woman that she has become, the narcissistic woman that she has become. You can never build a broad because you're not God. God builds women. You don't. You can try that if you want to. But the bottom line is this. What's going to happen is you're going to take your time, effort, energy, and probably your resources. Dump them into a woman like she's a project, like she's an investment. And you're going to lose out in the sexual marketplace because you have failed to understand one thing, that women, like stocks, are very volatile. And the stock that may be blasting through the roof today will bankrupt you tomorrow. So you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And you got to understand that whatever you do for a woman, when she gets to the end result, she's going to look at you. They're going to look at you like you owe them. Never try to build a broad, because when she becomes this magnificent masterpiece of construction, she's going to look at you and say, look what I've built. And you no longer deserve to have access to it. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.